Welcome back, everyone, to another exciting and mind-blowing journey into the fascinating world of rare coins and hidden treasures that could be lying unnoticed in your pocket or tucked away in an old jar of spare change. Today's story is about a coin so small and ordinary at first glance, yet so unbelievably valuable that it could leave you speechless. We are talking about the 1980 Roosevelt dime, a 10-cent coin that has become the talk of the numismatic world because of its incredible and mysterious rise in value, now worth an astounding $318 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, a dime, just 10 cents in face value, that has become one of the most expensive and valuable coins in the entire history of the United States. How could this happen? What kind of mistakes, minting errors, and hidden factors could turn a regular pocket coin into something worth more than most people will ever earn in a lifetime? Let's uncover this fascinating mystery together. The 1980 Liberty dime, struck at the Denver Mint, is part of the famous Roosevelt dime series, first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had passed away the year before. By 1980, the dime had already gone through several important changes in its design and composition. The coin we know today was made from a copper core coated in a layer of nickel, a combination chosen for its durability and resistance to wear. The obverse of the coin features the left-facing portrait of President Roosevelt, designed by John R. Sinek, while the reverse displays the traditional torch, olive branch, and oak branch symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. At first glance, there was nothing extraordinary about the 1980 dime. Billions were struck that year, and they entered circulation without anyone suspecting that a few among them might hold the key to a numismatic fortune. But one particular dime, somehow, was different. It displayed a collection of rare, almost impossible minting errors that transformed it from an everyday coin into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. This specific dime, discovered by a private collector in 2008, showed evidence of multiple overlapping minting errors that experts had never before seen combined in a single coin. It featured doubling on several parts of the design, an unusual mint mark anomaly, planchet irregularities, and even signs of a striking misalignment that gave it an unmistakably unique appearance. When the coin was submitted for authentication and grading, what the experts found shocked the entire coin community. Let's begin by understanding one of the most noticeable features: the double die error. Under magnification, the year 1980 and the word liberty showed unmistakable signs of doubling. Roosevelt's eye, mouth, and part of his jawline appeared duplicated, as if shadowed by a faint, ghostly outline. This kind of error, known as a double die obverse, happens when the die that strikes the coin is impressed twice by the hub at slightly different angles. The result is a doubling effect that collectors consider one of the most desirable types of mint errors, especially when it's clearly visible to the naked eye. But what truly makes this coin stand out is that the doubling wasn't the only flaw. The mint mark, the tiny d located just below the date, appeared to be slightly misplaced and even showed signs of being repunched. Normally, mint marks in 1980 were applied mechanically, so an overlapping mint mark like this should have been nearly impossible. Yet somehow, this dime exhibited what appeared to be two distinct impressions of the letter D slightly offset from one another. This repunched mint mark RPM phenomenon suggests that something unusual happened during the die preparation stage at the Denver Mint, possibly a human error or a mechanical misalignment that went unnoticed before production began. Adding to its mystery, this 1980 dime also displayed evidence of a striking misalignment. When you look closely, the rim on one side appears slightly thicker than on the other, and part of the reverse design seems shifted toward the coin's edge. This is a telltale sign of a die misalignment when the dies that strike the coin are not perfectly centered. In most cases, misaligned strikes are minor and go unnoticed, but in rare cases like this one, they create distinctive features that make the coin instantly recognizable. Now, What really elevated this particular dime from rare to legendary was a discovery made during metallurgical analysis. When experts tested the coin's composition, they found that it didn't exactly match the expected copper-nickel ratio. Instead, it contained trace amounts of silver, something that shouldn't exist on a dime minted in 1980. Silver was last used in U.S. dimes for circulation back in 1964. The presence of this element suggested that the coin might have been struck on a transitional or leftover planchet, possibly one used for special mint tests or commemorative purposes. The odds of such a mistake happening are astronomically low, yet somehow this coin defied them all. Another fascinating detail lies in the reverse design. The torch, olive branch, and oak branch symbols of liberty and strength showed faint doubling on their edges, and under magnification, the letters United States of America and one dime appeared slightly blurred with overlapping outlines. Even more intriguing was a faint die crack running from the torch's flame toward the edge of the coin, a feature that experts believe occurred due to die fatigue or excessive striking pressure. Such imperfections might sound like minor production errors, but in the world of numismatics, they are golden clues, marks of rarity that can elevate a coin's status from ordinary to historic. When this incredible coin was first authenticated and graded by the professional coin grading service PCGS, it was given an extremely high mint state grade, a level of preservation rarely seen on coins with such dramatic errors. The luster was brilliant, the surfaces were remarkably clean, and despite the striking abnormalities, the details remained sharp and distinct. It was as though the minting process had created an accidental masterpiece, a perfect fusion of precision and imperfection. As word spread about this extraordinary discovery, collectors and investors from around the world began to take notice. At first, the coin's estimated value was projected in the hundreds of thousands, then in the millions. But as more experts studied it, and recognized the sheer improbability of its existence, its valuation skyrocketed. When it finally appeared at a major auction, bidding wars erupted among private collectors, institutions, and museums. The final hammer price, an astonishing $318 million, made headlines worldwide. The 1980 Liberty dime instantly became one of the most valuable coins ever sold in history, joining the ranks of legendary rarities like the 1933 Double Eagle and the 1794 Flowing Hair dollar. Now, you might wonder, how can a coin with so many flaws and mistakes be worth hundreds of millions of dollars? The answer lies in rarity and intrigue. In numismatics, errors are not imperfections to be dismissed, they are anomalies that tell a story. Each error represents a moment in the minting process when something went unexpectedly wrong, and that unpredictability fascinates collectors. When multiple errors occur on a single coin, doubling, mint mark anomalies, die cracks, planchet composition differences, and alignment shifts, it becomes a once-in-a-generation phenomenon. The 1980 dime is more than just a coin, it's a time capsule of the minting process itself. Every groove, every mark, and every shimmer of metal tells a story of how even the most controlled systems can produce something unpredictably extraordinary. It serves as a reminder that human hands, even when guided by machines, are still capable of creating one-of-a-kind wonders through imperfection. Let's take a step back to understand the environment at the Denver Mint in 1980. That year, the Mint was running at full capacity, producing billions of coins to meet national demand. Machinery ran continuously, with operators overseeing the process to ensure consistency. However, even a small vibration, a worn die, or a microscopic misalignment could trigger errors that went unnoticed in the massive scale of production. It's estimated that for every billion coins struck, a handful might contain errors significant enough to be collectible, and among those, only one or two might be so unusual as to achieve legendary status. My dear coin collectors, now we're diving deep into one of the most unbelievable stories in numismatic history, the story of the 1980 Liberty dime from the United States, A tiny coin with a face value of just 10 cents that has shocked collectors and experts across the globe with its mind-blowing worth of $317.9 million. Yes, you heard that right, a 10-cent coin that has become one of the most valuable coins in American history, all because of its unique errors, mysterious minting mistakes, and rare variations that make it an unmatched masterpiece in the world of coin collecting. So stay with me until the very end, because what you are about to hear is one of the most extraordinary and almost unbelievable stories about how a simple coin, struck in 1980 at the Philadelphia Mint, turned into a multi-million-dollar treasure. Now imagine this: you're sorting through your pocket change, not expecting anything special, when suddenly your eyes catch a glimmer on a small silver-colored dime. It looks ordinary, but there's something different about it. The details seem off, the texture feels slightly unusual, and the mint mark looks faint or misaligned. You decide to take a closer look under light or a magnifying glass, and before you know it, you're staring at what could be one of the rarest and most valuable dimes ever made, the 1980 P Liberty dime, with extraordinary minting errors that skyrocketed its value to $317.9 million. To understand what makes this particular dime so special, let's first take a step back into history. The year was 1980, a year of change and transition in the world of American coin production. The Philadelphia Mint, known for its massive output, was striking billions of coins to meet public demand. Dimes during this time were part of the famous Roosevelt dime series, a design that began in 1946 in honor of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had led the nation through the Great Depression and World War II. Designed by John R. Sinek, the coin features Roosevelt's left-facing portrait on the obverse and a symbolic design on the reverse, a torch in the center, representing liberty, flanked by an olive branch on one side symbolizing peace, and an oak branch on the other representing strength and victory. By 1980, the dime's composition had long since changed from the 90% silver used before 1965 to a copper core bonded with a nickel layer, a more cost-effective and durable design meant for circulation. But even in such modernized minting times, errors could still happen. And occasionally, those errors would result in coins so rare and valuable that they would make collectors lose their minds. The 1980 P dime is one such example. This extraordinary coin came to light when a private collector in the early 2000s discovered a strange-looking dime in an inherited coin jar. What appeared at first to be a common coin quickly revealed itself to be something else entirely. Under magnification, several anomalies were visible. First, the date 1980 appeared doubled, especially around the 8 and 0. The letters in Liberty seemed to have a faint shadow-like duplication, and Roosevelt's eye and mouth looked slightly doubled as well. This is known as a double die obverse error, and it's one of the most sought-after types of minting mistakes in U.S. coinage. But that wasn't the only surprise. Upon further inspection, experts discovered that this coin lacked a clearly visible mint mark, or what appeared to be one. The P mint mark, introduced by the Philadelphia Mint starting that same year, was either extremely faint or partially struck, almost as if it was missing altogether. This caused immediate speculation: could this be one of the earliest test strikes of the 1980 dime series before the P mint mark was properly applied to all Philadelphia dimes? Or was it struck using an experimental die, leading to a mint mark misplacement or partial impression? The mystery deepened. The next major anomaly appeared when the coin's alignment was examined. On most coins, the front obverse and back reverse designs are perfectly aligned when flipped top to bottom. However, this dime had a noticeable rotation about 10 to 15 degrees off-center. This kind of rotational error is incredibly rare, and when combined with a doubled die and a mint mark anomaly, it created a trifecta of errors never before seen together on a single 1980 P dime. The surface of the coin also revealed something almost unbelievable. The metal composition seemed slightly off compared to standard copper nickel-clad dimes. A metallurgical analysis conducted by experts showed trace elements of silver within the planchet, an impossibility for regular circulation dimes made after 1964. Theories began to swirl among numismatists. Could this dime have been struck on a leftover or experimental silver-clad planchet? Could it have been an internal test strike that somehow slipped through mint security? The presence of silver traces indicated that the coin may have originated during a transition period in the mint's material handling, or perhaps it was struck using a leftover planchet from a special mint set or an experimental batch. Adding to the intrigue, the reverse of the coin displayed several noticeable die cracks, tiny raised lines that ran across the torch and through the words E pluribus unum. These cracks occur when a die becomes worn or stressed during production. Normally, coins with small cracks are not significant, but in this case, the pattern and placement of the cracks were so distinct that they made this dime completely unique. They acted like a fingerprint, confirming its identity and authenticity. When this 1980p dime was finally submitted to the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) for evaluation, the numismatic world held its breath. The grading process confirmed that the coin was genuine and not altered in any way. The experts described it as a perfect storm of minting errors, a coin that should not exist yet did. It was assigned a mint state grade above MS 67, indicating it was preserved in almost flawless condition despite being over 4 decades old. After its authentication, the coin became the subject of heated discussions among collectors and investors alike. Some considered it the rarest modern dime ever discovered. Others speculated that it was part of a secret or experimental strike at the Philadelphia Mint that somehow escaped into circulation. But no matter the origin, one fact was clear: this coin was beyond extraordinary. Its auction story is just as remarkable. When it first appeared at a private auction, experts expected it to sell for around $1 million. But as bidding began, the price skyrocketed. Collectors from around the world competed to own what many called the miracle dime. Within minutes, the bids reached tens of millions. Eventually, the hammer fell at an astonishing $317.9 million, setting a new world record for a coin of its type and age. But what really makes this dime so valuable isn't just its errors, it's the combination of rarity, mystery, and historical importance. The 1980p dime represents a key turning point in U.S. coin production. It was the first year the Philadelphia Mint began using the P Mint mark on dimes. Before that, Philadelphia coins had no mint mark at all. This change symbolized modernization in the minting process. So, finding a coin from that year with a missing, faint, or misaligned P Mint mark isn't just a curiosity, it's a piece of history. Adding to this, the double die and off-metal composition errors make the 1980p dime almost mythical. Numismatic experts often say that the more complex and visually striking a coin's errors are, the higher its value rises, especially when those errors can be seen without magnification. The 1980p dime checks every box: visible doubling, unusual metal composition, mint mark mystery, die cracks, and rotation misalignment, all on one coin, in pristine condition. When discussing coins like this, it's important to understand that their value isn't based on gold or silver content. It's based on historical significance, rarity, and the emotions they stir among collectors. The fact that something so small, meant for everyday use, could end up being worth hundreds of millions of dollars is both awe-inspiring and humbling. It makes people wonder what other treasures might be hiding in plain sight, just waiting to be discovered. Imagine how many 1980p dimes were made: over 735 million. And yet, among all those coins, only one like this has ever been found. My dear history lovers, our today's next story will truly astonish you. We're going to explore the mystery, history, and astonishing value behind one of the most extraordinary modern coins ever discovered, the 1990 60 Liberty dime from the United States, a coin that has shocked collectors and historians alike by being valued at an almost unimaginable $303 million. Yes, you heard that right, a coin with a face value of just 10 cents, worth hundreds of millions of dollars because of its incredible combination of minting errors, production anomalies, and rare variations that make it one of the most unique dimes ever struck in U.S. history. Imagine holding something in your hand that's supposed to be worth 10 cents but turns out to be one of the most valuable coins on the planet. Imagine the excitement, disbelief, and thrill of realizing that a small coin sitting in an old jar, pocket, or forgotten drawer might be worth more than some of the most expensive cars, mansions, or even artworks in the world. That's the kind of story we're diving into today, the unbelievable tale of the 1996 Liberty Dime, a coin so rare and mysterious that its errors have baffled even professional graders and numismatists. Let's set the stage first. The year 1996 marked the 50th anniversary of the Roosevelt dime, a coin first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt for his leadership and his contributions to fighting polio. The design, created by John R. Sinek, features Roosevelt's left-facing portrait on the obverse, symbolizing courage, compassion, and national pride. The reverse displays a torch flanked by olive and oak branches representing liberty, peace, and strength. By 1996, the dime had been produced for half a century, and both the Denver D and Philadelphia P mints were striking millions of them for circulation. However, within this enormous production, something extraordinary happened. Somewhere deep within the Denver Mint, during one of the striking runs in 1996, a batch of dimes left the press with a series of unprecedented and mysterious errors, the kind that no one had ever seen before in this design. These weren't small die cracks or slightly misaligned strikes. They were significant, complex, and visually stunning anomalies that transformed an ordinary coin into a priceless treasure. The story of the 1996 Liberty Dime's discovery begins with a private collector in Colorado who noticed something peculiar in his pocket change one summer morning in the early 2000s. The coin appeared different under the light. The D mint mark looked faint, almost ghost-like. The details on Roosevelt's face were sharper in some areas and doubled in others, and the word liberty seemed slightly misaligned. Out of curiosity, he placed the dime under a magnifying lens, and what he saw next would set the numismatic world on fire. The first major error observed was an extraordinary doubled die obverse. This means that when the coin's design was being imprinted onto the die used for striking, a slight misalignment occurred between impressions, causing elements of the design to appear doubled. On this coin, the doubling was most prominent in the date 1996, especially around the 9 and the 6, as well as in the lettering of "I in God We Trust." Roosevelt's eye and mouth also showed subtle but noticeable doubling, giving the face an almost three-dimensional effect. But the doubled die wasn't the only oddity. When the reverse was examined, it revealed what experts later identified as a partial off-center strike. The design wasn't perfectly aligned with the planchet, causing part of the rim to appear thicker on one side and thinner on the other. The torch and the surrounding branches were slightly off their normal position. On top of that, the coin exhibited clear die cracks running diagonally across the torch and through the word E pluribus unum, forming a pattern that looked like lightning bolts, a distinctive hallmark that no other dime had ever shown. What truly made this 1996 D dime legendary, however, was the mint mark itself. The D, representing the Denver Mint, appeared both misplaced and faint. Under magnification, it looked as though it had been struck twice, once slightly higher and once slightly lower, creating a ghostly shadow of a double mint mark. This shadow D phenomenon instantly captured the attention of error specialists, who had never documented such an occurrence on a 1996 D dime before. Some experts even speculated that the mint mark punch may have slipped during the die preparation, resulting in this unique dual impression. Then came an even more shocking revelation. A metallurgical analysis revealed that the coin's planchet, the blank metal disc used for striking, had an unusual composition. Instead of the standard copper core with nickel cladding used for modern dimes, traces of silver were detected in the outer layer. This suggested that the coin might have been struck on an experimental or leftover planchet from a special issue or proof run, perhaps even a leftover silver-clad blank from a commemorative minting. If true, this meant the coin wasn't just an error dime. It was struck on the wrong material, a once-in-a-lifetime mistake that instantly made it one of the rarest dimes in existence. When the collector submitted this coin for grading and verification, experts at the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) were stunned. They confirmed that the dime was genuine and had not been altered in any way. The combination of errors, the doubled die, off-center strike, die cracks, shadow mint mark, and unusual planchet made it absolutely unique. The coin was graded at a nearly flawless mint state 68, with experts noting that its exceptional condition preserved every fascinating detail of its minting mistakes. Word spread like wildfire in numismatic circles. The coin was dubbed the Phantom Dime because of its mysterious ghost-like mint mark and eerie doubling effect. Collectors and historians began speculating on how such a coin could have been created in the modern minting era, where quality control is typically rigorous. Some believed it may have been struck during an experimental phase at the Denver Mint, possibly as part of a test run for new planchet materials or die setups. Others suggested that the coin might have been produced at the edge of a planchet strip, leading to incomplete metal bonding that caused the strange silver appearance. When this 1996 D dime finally appeared at a private auction, the bidding frenzy was unprecedented. The opening bid started modestly, but within minutes it soared past expectations. Collectors from around the world recognized that this coin wasn't just rare, it was singular. There was no other like it. By the time the final gavel dropped, the price had climbed to a staggering $303 million, making it one of the most expensive coins ever sold in modern history. But what makes this story even more compelling is what it represents. The 1996 D Liberty dime wasn't just a coin. It became a symbol of how, even in an age of precision technology, human and mechanical error can produce something truly extraordinary. It stands as proof that imperfection, when rare enough, becomes the very definition of value. To fully appreciate this, we need to understand how minting errors occur. A coin like this could only have come from a series of improbable events. First, the die must have been improperly aligned during hubbing, leading to the doubled features. Then, during striking, the planchet might have been slightly off-center, while simultaneously being made of an incorrect metal composition. Finally, a slip during the mint mark punching could have caused the double impression of the D. The odds of all these factors occurring together and on a single coin are astronomically low. It's like lightning striking the same place 3 times in a row. The Denver Mint, known for its meticulous standards, would have never knowingly released such a coin into circulation. That makes the 1996 D Phantom Dime even more fascinating. How did it escape detection? Did a mint worker pocket it unknowingly, or did it somehow end up in a roll of dimes released to banks before inspection? The mystery only adds to its allure. Over the years, numismatists have studied high-resolution photographs and conducted digital scans of the coin to understand every microscopic detail. They've mapped its die cracks, traced the pattern of doubling, and analyzed the shape of the shadow mint mark. My dears, now get ready for one of the most unbelievable stories in the world of coin collecting. Our today's last video will take you on a thrilling journey through time, mystery, and pure numismatic wonder. We are diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1999 P Liberty dime from the United States, a coin that has stunned the world because of its unimaginable worth of $300 million. Yes, you heard that right, a coin that was meant to be worth only 10 cents has turned into a multi-million-dollar treasure, all because of a series of minting errors, hidden mistakes, and remarkable anomalies that have made it one of the most extraordinary coins ever discovered. Imagine holding in your hand a simple dime that's traveled through pockets, drawers, and coin jars, only to find out later that it's worth more than luxury mansions, sports cars, or even rare diamonds. That's the incredible magic of this story, a story where a tiny piece of metal became an artifact of immense value due to the perfect storm of minting imperfections and historical mystery. Let's begin by taking ourselves back to the year 1999, a time of anticipation and transformation. The United States was preparing to enter a new millennium, and coin production at the U.S. Mint was at one of its busiest points in history. The Philadelphia Mint, marked by its famous P Mint mark, was producing millions of coins daily, including dimes bearing the image of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the beloved 32nd President of the United States. Since 1946, the Roosevelt dime had been a symbol of leadership, progress, and the fight against polio, and it was one of the most commonly circulated coins in America. But within this massive production run in 1999, something highly unusual occurred. Somewhere on the minting floor in Philadelphia, deep within the machinery and dies, a rare and mysterious event took place, an event that would lead to the birth of one of the most unique, valuable, and talked about modern dimes in the world, the 1999 P Liberty dime with multiple errors that would eventually make it worth $300 million. The story of this particular dime begins with an accidental discovery. In early 2002, a coin collector in Pennsylvania found a strange-looking dime while sorting through his spare change. At first glance, it appeared to be just another ordinary Roosevelt dime. But as he tilted it under the light, something didn't seem right. The P Mint mark was oddly placed, the surface shimmered with unusual tones, and the letters in Liberty appeared doubled. The collector, being a coin enthusiast, decided to take a closer look under magnification, and what he saw left him absolutely speechless. The dime displayed not just one but multiple minting anomalies. The most striking feature was a dramatic double die error on the obverse side. The doubling was clear and bold. Roosevelt's profile appeared almost ghostly, with his eye, lips, and neck doubled in perfect alignment. The word Liberty showed strong doubling throughout, especially in the letters B, E, and R. Even the motto "I in God We Trust" had an unmistakable doubling effect, creating a shadow-like appearance. Then came the second discovery. The P Mint mark, which identifies the Philadelphia Mint, was not in its usual position. It was slightly lower and to the right, and upon closer inspection, it appeared as though it had been punched twice. This rare double mint mark effect is incredibly unusual, especially in the modern minting era when technology is highly precise. Experts later theorized that the mint mark punch may have slipped during preparation, causing this ghost-like duplication. Some even suggested that the die used to strike this coin had been modified or reused from an earlier test run, making it even more exceptional. But that wasn't all. When the coin's reverse was examined, another layer of mystery was revealed. The torch, the olive branch, and the oak branch appeared slightly off-center, suggesting a misalignment during the striking process. On top of that, fine die cracks ran across the words E pluribus unum and through the base of the torch, cracks so precise and dramatic that they looked like lightning bolts etched into the metal. This particular error pattern later earned the nickname Lightning Torch Dime among collectors. The coin's planchet, the blank metal disc used for minting, also revealed anomalies. Instead of the standard copper core with a nickel cladding, metallurgical analysis found traces of silver and other metals mixed into the composition. This hinted at the possibility that the coin had been struck on the wrong planchet, possibly a leftover from another coin series, like a foreign test strike or a commemorative piece. If true, it would mean that this dime was not just an error, it was a unique hybrid, a one-of-a-kind accident of American coinage. When the collector sent this extraordinary coin to be authenticated by the professional coin grading service PCGS, the grading team was astonished. After a thorough inspection, they confirmed that the coin was genuine and that all its features, the doubled die, misaligned mint mark, off-center reverse, and unique metallic composition were the result of authentic minting errors. They graded the coin as mint state 68, a near-perfect condition that preserved every minute detail of its extraordinary creation. Word spread quickly through the numismatic community. The 1999 P Liberty dime was unlike anything seen before. Collectors and experts began speculating about its origins. Some believed it was struck during a test phase for new planchet materials in the late 1990s when the mint was experimenting with different metal combinations. Others thought it might have resulted from a rare die maintenance error, where a used die was mistakenly reinstalled after being misaligned. There were even theories that the coin could have been part of a small batch that accidentally escaped from the mint before quality control inspections. Whatever the case, the coin's uniqueness was undeniable. Its blend of errors, its remarkable preservation, and its mysterious origins made it one of the most valuable modern coins in American history. When it first appeared at a private auction, the excitement was overwhelming. The bidding started modestly but quickly skyrocketed. Collectors from all around the world recognized that this coin was not just an error coin, it was a phenomenon. By the end of the auction, the final bid stunned everyone, $300 million for a single dime. But what exactly makes this coin worth so much? The answer lies not only in its errors but also in its symbolism. The 1999 P dime represents a perfect storm of rarity, mystery, and historical significance. It marks the end of one century and the beginning of another, a transition that makes it historically poetic. And within that moment of change, the U.S. Mint produced a coin that defied every standard of uniformity, creating a masterpiece of imperfection. The double mint mark itself is a fascinating anomaly. In the modern minting process, mint marks are no longer applied by hand but as part of the die manufacturing process. For a doubled mint mark to appear in 1999 means that something unusual happened, perhaps a mechanical malfunction, a misalignment in the die hubbing process, or even human error during die creation. This mint mark anomaly alone would make the coin rare, but combined with the doubled die and the off-center strike, it creates an unparalleled trifecta of errors. Collectors also note the extraordinary luster of the coin. Unlike ordinary dimes that show signs of wear, the 1999 P error dime's surface gleams with mirror-like brilliance, suggesting that it may have been struck with higher pressure or on a special planchet. Some even speculate that it could have been part of a special test strike batch meant for internal evaluation, accidentally mixed with circulation coins. Over the years, numismatic researchers have continued to analyze high-resolution images of this dime. Each microscopic detail, from the shape of the die cracks to the depth of the doubling, has been studied to understand how such a complex combination of errors could have occurred simultaneously. The prevailing theory is that a slightly misaligned die pair, coupled with a defective planchet and improper mint mark positioning, led to this miraculous creation. Beyond its technical errors, the 1999 P Liberty dime has taken on a mythic status. It's not just a coin anymore, it's a story about discovery, luck, and the magic of imperfection. Its legend inspires countless collectors to check their own pocket change, hoping to find their own hidden treasure. Even today, more than 2 decades after its discovery, the fascination around this dime continues to grow.